Hey everyone, it is April here, founder of Cheeky, and I actually don't think that I've done an Instagram live for like maybe a year, maybe a little longer, a very long time. So bear with me, I'm kind of like used to hiding out in a warehouse these days, so very much not used to being in front of camera. But so the reason I'm here today is we have been getting in a lot of samples from amazing products, and we wanted to mix them up in different cocktails, obviously with our products as well, and finally was like, okay, we got to get this done, and it's time to share some awesome cocktails with y'all. So I don't know about you guys, we have a lot of people using our products who want to use cheeky syrups and juices with actual foolproof spirits, and then some who want to use them with non-alc. And so what I'm going to do today is actually make 3 different cocktails. One foolproof, one that's kind of a lower proof, lower ABV, and then the third one that's non-alc. And I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I personally have been sort of weaning off my very spirit-heavy cocktails earlier in the evening and then going lighter later, so that's going to be the cadence that we're going to use here. So I can see the screen if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, but without further ado, let's get started. So if anyone knows the Revolver Cocktail, it's made with bourbon, a coffee liqueur. There's typically orange bitters, oftentimes like a dry orange bitters, stirred cocktail, and then garnished with an orange twist. I'm going to make a simpler version of this actually, and like a lot of stirred cocktails, you can prepare it in a mixing glass. You can also prepare it straight in the glass. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm actually just going to prepare it in the glass itself. So I will be adding my beautiful block ice here. This is from 100 Ice. If anyone here is a New Yorker, you can also purchase these from them. They have this 300-pound Kleinbell machine. So the machine makes these 300-pound blocks of ice, and it's super crystal clear. I just took this one out of the freezer, but then I've had a couple that have been tempering here as well. And if you're going to be carving block ice, you definitely want to temper it, meaning you want to leave it out such that it starts getting melty looking like this, or else it cracks very easily. So I'm going to use this this one actually, just to make sure it doesn't crack when I make the cocktail. So just place this in here. And if you guys can't see at any point, just let me know too. So again, going to make this super simple. If anyone knows our products here, you know that we very recently launched this really delicious espresso syrup. So this is just with, cold brew sourced from Cafe Integral, which is this really amazing local roaster here in Brooklyn. They source single origin beans from Nicaragua, and they are their attention to craft and quality is very high. So we're using their cold brew concentrate, cane sugar, and then gum arabic. And for anybody who knows cocktails, gum arabic is a natural emulsifier, so a quote-unquote mixologist approved ingredient. So we are using this. The reason that I added gum arabic into this recipe is because we made this syrup for the espresso martini, and for anyone, again, who has these in bars, you know that it is really hard to get that really fluffy, foamy crema on the surface of the cocktail unless you're pulling fresh espresso. So making this happen and getting that texture with a shelf-stable product is super hard. And so that's why we put it in here. And it turns out that this also creates this lovely body and texture in stirred cocktails as well. So it's perfect for this context. So we're just gonna do 1 ounce of the Cheeky Espresso Syrup. Pour it, as I mentioned, directly into the glass. And then we will use Starward Two-Fold for this. This is an Australian whiskey. It's wheat and malted barley. So we're going to do 2 ounces of this. I'm just using the 1 ounce side of this jigger so I don't drip everywhere here. Cool. And this is matured in red wine barrels as well, which is kind of cool. All right, great. So as I mentioned, I've already got my block ice in here. I'm just going to give this a quick stir. The quality control point, for anyone who's curious, is you want to feel the glass getting nice and chilly on the outside. So I'm just going to give it, again, pretty quick stir here. And then I'm going to take my beautiful shiny orange. For anyone new to cocktails, when you're sourcing citrus for garnishes, well, just really any time, but specifically for garnishes, you want it to be this beautiful, shiny, this appearance here, because otherwise it's not going to have the oils that you need to express over the surface of the cocktail. So this orange, honestly, is a little bit misshapen. I would not personally have pulled, selected this myself when purchasing this, but I got it from Instacart. I'm just going to use my Y peeler to pull up a nice swath there. Hold the shiny part down over the surface of the cocktail, and then I'm just going to squeeze. I don't want to break it. I don't want to like fragment it. I'm going to rub it over the surface of the cocktail and then just garnish in there. So it's just this beautiful, beautiful appearance. So as you can see, again, just 2 parts. We use Starward Two-Fold Australian whiskey, 1 part cheeky espresso syrup. You can actually see, you probably can't see it there, but maybe you can see the reflection. There's all the oils from the orange are sort of glistening on the surface, and that's going to be all of that beautiful aroma and flavor, and that's going to contribute that really lovely orange note to this cocktail. So it smells amazing. You get that, again, both the orange as well as the coffee notes on the nose. And super delicious. The sweetness level or the sugar level in our espresso syrup, it's probably comparable to like a 1-to-1 simple syrup, maybe a little bit less. And so it's it does not overpower this at all. 2-to-1 is really like a really perfect ratio. So this is the first cocktail, and I shall put this aside and move on to the second one. Again, if anyone has questions, please let me know. So this cocktail we are going to make, as I mentioned, it's going to be sort of like half proof, roughly. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do basically a flip. So I was thinking, because of the espresso syrup, themes around coffee are kind of fun. And for anyone who knows the classic coffee cocktail, there's actually no coffee in it. It's classically made with cognac, ruby port, and simple syrup or sugar. In this case, because I actually just don't have cognac here, I'm going to use bourbon. So I'll do an ounce of bourbon. In this case, I've got Bullet over here. I'm going to do an ounce of Proteau, whoopsie, knocking things over. An ounce of Proteau Ludlow Red. So this is actually a botanical, a non-alc botanical aperitif. So this you can actually drink on the rocks. You can drink it, ice and seltzer water, for example. Chilled is really nice, but it has like some really lovely body and texture and sort of a luxurious quality to it as well. So in this case, again, I'm using this in place of the ruby port, but because of the, there's no added sugar in this, I'm actually going to up the amount of sugar. And I also am going to add cheeky espresso syrup in this in place of just the simple syrup, because I actually do want to get those sort of quality espresso coffee notes in it. So, I should also mention, sorry, I completely forgot to mention, because it's a flip is made with a whole egg. So I'll do the egg first, and then I'll add the other ingredients. We want to just get a nice clean break here. Actually, just dump that guy in. Pardon me. It always pays to have paper towel near you. All right, cool. So we've got our full egg in there. I'm going to do an ounce of this bourbon. This is 45 proof. So we're going to get some nice ABV out of this, but it's still not going to be overwhelming. I'm going to do an ounce of the Ludlow Red. Okay. And then I'm actually going to do a full ounce of cheeky espresso syrup as well. And as I mentioned, the coffee cocktail is classically not made with coffee of any kind, but I wanted to add it. I made this earlier before going live, and I felt like it really enhanced and supported the cocktail. So we're going to dry shake this guy. If anyone is new to dry shaking, normally when you shake with ice, it creates a suction and a vacuum, and it sucks the two shakers together such that they don't break apart on you when you're shaking. Because there's no ice in this, I've got to be very careful that it doesn't break apart and go all over me. So that's what we're going to do. So as you can see, again, I've sealed this. I've actually turned the little side up. And this is just a best practice that I learned bartending and then teaching cocktail classes as well, which is if for some reason half of the shaker shoots out, it shoots over your shoulder and not onto your guests. Because, again, I'm doing this without any ice in it whatsoever, I'm actually going to shake it like this, which doesn't look great, honestly, but I don't want to be wearing this egg white in case it does, or excuse me, the full egg, in case it does come out. All right. So you want to dry shake first, and that's for that texture. Whoops. That would be awesome, by the way, if I was wearing an entire cocktail on myself by the end of this, Instagram Live. I'm going to get some ice, and then we'll shake that up. Because I want to preserve that foamy crema, I'm just going to add probably 1 to 2 pieces of ice, which I'm going to grab. They're still in my freezer. Give me 1 sec. We're going to go with 1 because I could not get the second one out. All right. We're going to go with this nice little sort of half martini, half coupe. And again, I'm just going to shake that such that I can feel the shaker getting cold. But again, I want to make sure that this is still frothy, foamy. Cool. And this is when you're working with egg or egg white, you definitely want to ensure that the egg is going into the shaker rather than everywhere, because it gets very messy very quickly. I've learned that the hard way a million times over. Cool. And this is just like another best practice. I know some people do it, some people don't. This is a fine strainer or a double strainer. I'm going to strain through here. And you can see, again, we've got that beautiful foamy texture. Cool. And then the final ingredient for this is the garnish. It's fresh nutmeg. It really cannot be pre-grated nutmeg. It just is not the same aroma. And for anyone who's had flips before, you really do need some sort of aromatic because the smell of egg is not great. It's great for texture, it's great for body, but the smell is not awesome. So this really helps with that, and fresh grated nutmeg is super aromatic. Cool. All right, so here it is, and this is again my coffee cocktail flip with actual coffee. And the ingredients, as I mentioned, I used bullet bourbon, Proteau Ludlow Red over here, and then cheeky espresso syrup, 1 full egg, and nutmeg. And guys, this is delicious. It's very well balanced. I am not a sweet cocktail person at all. It is not too sweet. This is not like a dessert drink. It just has a lot of texture and complexity to it. So highly recommended, and I can post the recipes in the body of the Instagram as well. I hope you guys like that. I hope you guys try it. And then the final one we're going to do is going to be a non-alc New York sour. So whiskey sour is one of the most classic whiskey cocktails. It's made with whiskey, lemon, and simple syrup. Sometimes people add egg white as well. In this case, as I mentioned, we're going to do a non-alc version. And so we're going to do this with Spiritless Kentucky 74. So we actually just got this in just the other day. So this is an alcohol removed whiskey. Honestly, for many of the distilled non-alc spirits, you never know what they're going to taste like because there's a lot of ways you can aim to get to a similar outcome. I was very pleasantly surprised with this. I would say there's like a bitter note that I maybe wasn't expecting, but I think it actually goes nicely. It gives a really nice backbone to the cocktail as well. So I hope you do 1.5 ounces of Spiritless Kentucky 74. And then we're going to do 1 ounce of cheeky lemon and then 3/4 ounce of cheeky simple syrup. Oops, I under-poured on that. So our syrups are made to bar. I just blanked out for a second there. So our syrups, cheeky syrups, are made to bar specs. the closest that we could get to a 1-to-1 simple syrup, which is our simple syrup, it's a little bit over, and that was for food safety reasons. Basically, at a certain point, you either have to add more sugar or you have to add unnatural additives. We did not want to do the latter, and so we elected to make it slightly over a 1-to-1 simple syrup, but it's very, very, very close. So if a 1-to-1 simple syrup is like 50 bricks, this is like could be 55. So again, very close, but for that reason, I'm gonna underpour a little bit. So I'm gonna do 3/4 ounces as opposed to the full ounce that I used for the lemon. Cool. I'm so excited about this. I hope you guys like this. Let me just fill this guy up with ice. We're gonna shake, and we're gonna serve this over one large cube over here. And then we are going to do a non-alc red wine floater. So this, Free Wines, this is their Merlot, and it's actually very lovely also. Again, very pleasantly surprised. Give me one sec, let me grab the ice, and I'll be right back. This is what I get, by the way, for trying to keep my ice as like hard and beautiful as possible, is it's all stuck in this bowl. So bear with me. All right, I think we're back in business. Hopefully I don't break things on the screen here. Okay. Add one more cube. I'm curious to know, has anyone tried any of these products that I was mentioning? Again, we've got Proteau Ludlow Red, we have the Free Wines Merlot, and then we've got Spiritless Kentucky 74, and then Starward Two-Fold. If you have, give a shout. Replace them. Okay, cool. So this guy we're just gonna shake up. Same thing as before, just make a nice seal. Okay, cool. Great. All right, now, as I mentioned, I've had this cube tempering over here, and because this is a nice little glass, I carved it down to size earlier, excuse me. And so with this, I'm just gonna strain the cocktail into the glass. Then I'm gonna leave a little bit of room for my red wine float as well. And this, couple quick tips on this. There's a few ways you can do this. Basically with a New York sour or with anything with a float like this, you wanna stop the float from dropping to the bottom of the glass. So you can pour with the spoon facing up, you can pour with the spoon facing down. There's another type of bar spoon that has like a little, thanks Laura, that has a little tab at the end. And that's actually my preferred way to do floats, but that's not, again, gonna work so well with me right now because I don't have it with me. So just do this. And again, you really wanna pour very, very slowly. This is actually a little bit difficult because this wine bottle is so full, and so it's making it a little bit more challenging to pour. But as I mentioned, this is an entirely non-alc New York sour. I made it before, as I mentioned. It was super, super, super delicious. And as I had mentioned for myself, since I'm trying to drink my more spirit-forward cocktails earlier in the night, it's like a really lovely thing to kind of wind it down a little bit. So again, I a little bit messed that up, to be honest, but it still looks cute, it still looks good, it's still layered. And again, it's really, really quite delicious. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, please hit me up. Thank you all for joining me. And again, I apologize, I'm a little bit rusty because I have not done anything camera focused for a very long time. So thank you guys for joining me, and I will put the recipes in the body of the Instagram. So, all right, have a wonderful rest of your Saturday and rest of your weekend, guys. Okay, cheers.